What is up, everyone? Guys, listen up. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Arc Raiders. I was lucky enough to play this game for over 100 hours in the previous playtests, betas, and after watching this video, I'm going to try to answer all of the most interesting questions surrounding Arc Raiders. Is this game actually worth it? Should you buy it? How does the PvP feel? And should you even try this game if you are a PvE player? Is it possible to progress in this game as a solo player, duo, trios? All of that will be covered. We're also going to be talking about progression, weapon attachments, map design. Essentially everything you need to know is going to be answered in this video. If you guys do enjoy it, slap a like, sub to the channel, and keep in mind, I'm going to be streaming essentially all day long when this game goes live. So I'd love to see you guys live on stream, both on YouTube and Twitch. And now let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the PvP experience of the game before we talk about the PvE side of it. First of all, you need to understand it is an extraction shooter, which means you're going in, you're trying to get the best loot you can, complete some side quests or main quests that you can pick up before you go into the mission, get some unique loot, and then extract with that loot and just make your character stronger by crafting better and better items. And once again, we're going to get to the progression here in a minute. So overall, the PvP feel of it, what makes it so special for me personally, when I was playing it, for me, the difference between Arc and some of the other extraction shooters was the incredible immersive nature of the game. So if you are trying to look for those PvP encounters, if you are just focused on PvP, you are gonna get them. You're gonna find those PvP encounters and you're gonna have tons of fun. One of the systems that makes all of this PvP so intense is the flare system, and you're gonna see it on your screen right now. I down somebody and boom, you see that flare just shoot up, right? Now, the reason this is so cool, obviously, everybody from your team knows you down somebody, so you guys are good to push, but the intensity comes from the fact that all the other teams around you also see it, so they are most likely gonna try to third party it, get all of the loot from your team and the enemy team, and then just bounce. And maybe there's even more teams pushing in, right? So the intensity that this system brings is actually pretty cool. But this is where we're gonna talk about the PvE player side of the game, and we're gonna move there because the flare system is also what makes it really, really cool to be a PvE player. You see, what happens is when you down a player, as mentioned, everybody sees that, and that means if you're close around there, you're gonna see it too. And if you are a PvE player and if you're trying to just ignore PvP, well, you just got your sign to not go to that location because that's where the action is going down, right? And when I was playing this game, I had a bunch of solo games. Obviously, I enjoy solo play in general, but my goal was to figure out, is it possible to play this game if I'm not focused on PvP? If I just want to get the loot, complete the quest, and get out, like, can I do that? And the answer to that is yes. Is it gonna happen 100% of the time? No, but that's also true for PvP players, right? Like, sometimes we're gonna run into 2 teams, 3 teams, or even 1 team, and we're gonna get destroyed. So now let's quickly talk about the PvE enemies, because this is important both for PvP players and PvE players. These enemies are called the Arc, and these uglies come in different shapes and forms. You'll see some ground units, flying units, you're gonna see some mini bosses, so to speak, and some crazy sized Arc as well. However, as mentioned, if you are a PvE player, there's a lot of information you can gather from other players' interactions with the PvE enemies the same way you do with the flare system. Meaning, for example, the PvE enemies make a lot of sound, and that is another cue for you to see where the action is going down. A lot of the times you'll see some PvE enemies chasing other players, and even though you might not even see the player themselves, you know that that's where they are. On top of that, there are a bunch of items in the game that make your solo life much easier. For example, there are items that you can hold up in the air, and once you do that, you are much harder to spot. So you're moving around the map, you know, boom, 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 having a good time, looting, completing your quests. And if you see some flying Arc coming your way, you just use the items. Now it's easier to sneak around. You also have smoke bombs. You also have zips to get to some crazy spots. And overall, honestly, this solo experience is extremely enjoyable. And one more thing that is very, very important for solo players, that it makes this game so good, is the queue system. So if you're queuing up as a solo player, guys, you are going to be playing against other solo queues. And obviously you can play as a duo or trio. That's going to be up to you. But the fact that the game offers that kind of queue is also very nice, makes it much more viable for PvE players. And once again, in some of the encounters, guys, when I would start up as a solo trying to just, get some loot and extract, and especially if it was a night mode, it was incredible, man. It would feel like a horror game in a way because you're alone, and the sound, oh my God, we're gonna get to the sound here in a minute because I do feel like the sound design really does deserve for us to talk about it in a separate segment here, right? But overall, it was incredible. One of the best feelings ever as a solo player. One thing that I almost forgot to mention about the solo players, by the way, is that the main extraction is not the only place or the only way to extract. So you can pick up a key, and with those keys, you can go to a specific location and extract on your own without going to like the main extraction points where it can be a lot of teams. Once again, it will give you the ability to get in and get out as a solo player a little bit easier. Now let's talk about the progression as a solo player, duo, or trio. Like what is there to do in this game? Now keep in mind, obviously I don't know everything because literally we've played probably like 20-25% of the overall game. That said, some of the things that we do know is that there's gonna be weapon progression and rarity. So you start off with like lower rarity weapons, and you can go all the way from like white, green, blue, purple, all the way to yellow, which is the legendary gear. And this also happens for other items as well, not just weapons. For example, for the weapon attachments and different tools, there was a tool called, for example, the snap hook, which gives you the crazy ability to grapple to buildings and whatnot. So yeah, rarities for items, and you can craft these items as you progress. So there's also crafting tables, and these also have levels, so you need to get the right materials in order to max out your crafting tables, which then gives you the ability to craft higher tier items. And you guys get it, right? Like that's the circle. Yellow rarity magazines that I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure finding some recipes that were yellow, and you craft those and they have a better, bigger effect on your weapons. And a lot of those things are just spread around the map. You need to find them, and some of them are hidden in special rooms, and those keys are also found while you're playing, while you're doing your raids, right? So that's one side of the progression, which is like the weapon upgrades and so on. On top of that, guys, you have a skill tree. In the previous playtest, this might change obviously when the game launches, but in the previous playtest, the skill tree was divided into 3 paths, and depending on what you were looking for, you could like invest into that, right? Like if you want your character to sprint longer, right? Or if you want the rolls to go further and so on. Essentially, they're more like of a quality of life bettering than anything else. You're not gonna get some invisibility or something like that, you know what I mean? But you can make your character just feel better overall when it comes to movement and mantling and so on. So yeah, that is another way of progression, but that's not all of it, right? Like we don't know what's going to be in the full game. They have already showcased a bunch of weapons that we never even had in the previous playtests. So that's probably going to be something to look for, like to farm, to craft. And there's also gonna be probably different kinds of bosses as well. Like in the playtest, we had a world boss, kind of like, which was the queen, was this huge spider robot. And once again, like look at it as like a world boss in MMOs, for example, right? And you were able to like fight this one, take it down, take the pieces from it, like some of the crafting materials, and craft some awesome stuff in the game. So there's definitely gonna be stuff to do, and one of the more interesting parts is that they are adding ranked mode, and that's another layer to progression. So if you are a competitive player, you're gonna have a good time, right? Like there's something to chase there as well. And if you are a PvE player, you got a lot of items, crafting weapons and like skill trees and so on that you're chasing as well. Now, Embark has also given us information about how the wipe system is going to work in this game. You are going to have the ability to wipe your progression, and what it does is it kind of works like a prestige system. So you are going to reset your account, you're going to lose everything, but there's going to be some stuff that you are going to get instead. Like it's going to be most likely skins. We don't know how the skins are gonna look or anything like that, but we do know that those are gonna be one of the rewards. And there were some talks about some kind of other rewards that would affect the account overall, but we really don't know much details about that one. However, the fact that there is going to be a prestiging / wipe system that is not forced upon you, and you can do it if you want to, and if you don't want to, you can just skip it. That is pretty cool. And that is going to be a progression system for like really hardcore players that are going to be wanting to show off some of the coolest skins, hopefully, in the game. So yeah, that's all I can tell you about progression. Once again, I want to be very honest about it. I don't know what's going to be in the full game. We do know, and we're going to talk about map designs here, but real quick, we do know that there's going to be new maps overall, which is pretty cool because the map design in this game is incredible. And by the way, I forgot to mention this. If you are a PvE solo player, the cool thing is different maps give you different kinds of ways to play the game. Like this map that you see right now is a PvP heavy map. So if you are a PvE player, you probably want to play on the bigger maps. Like this isn't as big, and there's like buildings very close to each other, and there's always like PvP going on, you know what I mean? Because it's a smaller map. But on the bigger ones, you can sneak around more, you can use the bushes just to hide, and especially, as I said, if you want to go into full-on horror mode, night mode is what you're looking for. That's going to be just awesome for solo extractions, you know what I mean? But when it comes to the map designs, the maps are very unique and very well made. Even on some of the biggest maps in this game, there are areas and hotspots where crazy stuff is going down. And you get the opportunity to get into close quarter battles, you get longer lanes. All of that is just covered on every map. So honestly, all of them felt good. They really did. And one of the things that made both close quarters or like long range PvP incredible was the sound design. Guys, I cannot explain how good the sound design is in this video game. I'm actually gonna play a little clip for you guys so you can hear some of the sounds. Guys, the sound is insane. Like everything, like you're outside, it's raining, and the rain just sounds so good. And then you go into the building and the sound changes. It's just insane. It's really impressive, but you really got to try it out to understand what I'm talking about here, you know? I also want to talk about the price of the game. So the base version is $40. And once again, I'm gonna be honest, for the game that I played, and it wasn't even the full game, $40 is a good price. It really is. And you can get the deluxe edition or whatever that edition is called for $60. And the difference there is going to be some skins, I believe, and you get some in-game currency that you can spend on skins as well. And I would love to hear your thoughts on the pricing, by the way. Do you guys think it's too high? Do you think that it's okay? Let's have that discussion in the comment section. So my overall thoughts, if you're a PvP player, you're gonna get everything you're looking for. And if you're a PvE player, I think that you're gonna have a blast. And I know that there's a lot of players that are kind of like, oh dude, you know what, like there's PvP in it. Am I gonna enjoy it as a PvE player, or am I just gonna get destroyed? Hopefully I answered those questions, but I'm gonna be honest with you, when I tested all of those things, the game felt good. It gave me the possibility to avoid some of the things that I didn't want to be involved with, and it gave me the ability to progress in the game as a PvE player without running into PvP all the time, which is what makes the intensity in a way so interesting. Because sometimes you're gonna have to run for your life, and sometimes if you play smart, you're gonna have some of the sneakiest, intense, fun extractions ever. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section below. Once again, I would love to see you guys live on stream, both on YouTube and Twitch. We're going to be farming that ranked mode like crazy to get to the very, very top of it. and we're just gonna have a good time. I am blessed with the most amazing community out there. We always have a good time, so I'd love to see you guys live on stream. I'm also gonna be uploading tons of videos, guides, solo plays, duo plays, trio plays, all the good stuff. I cannot wait. As always, thank you so much for all the love and support. Stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.